Have you ever felt imprisoned by your own negative thoughts? Days where you awaken to immediate anxiety, self-doubt, or inescapable negativity. Do you question why you remain trapped in this cycle? But what if you could control your thoughts and break free from this destructive pattern today? Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors and a master of Stoic philosophy, bequeathed timeless wisdom on managing thoughts, eliminating negativity, and cultivating inner peace. This video will explore powerful Stoic principles to help you cease self-sabotage, reclaim control of your mind, and live a stronger, more resilient life. Are you ready to liberate yourself from negativity and cultivate an unyielding mindset? Let's begin. 1. Master your perception. Cognition dictates emotion, not events. Stoic philosophy asserts that our thoughts, not external occurrences, are the genesis of negative emotions. Consider this practical example. You receive criticism from a colleague. A negative interpretation, "I am incompetent, they disrespect me," will predictably engender feelings of disappointment, sadness, and self-doubt. Conversely, a positive interpretation, "This presents an opportunity for learning and improvement," fosters motivation and a drive for self-development. The crucial takeaway is this: the manner in which we interpret events, not the events themselves, fundamentally determines our emotional response. This principle underscores the power of cognitive reframing in managing emotional well-being. By consciously choosing how we perceive and process external stimuli, we exert significant control over our emotional landscape, mitigating the impact of potentially negative experiences and cultivating a more resilient and positive mindset. The ability to consciously reframe negative interpretations into constructive ones is a skill honed through consistent self-awareness and mindful practice. Marcus Aurelius's assertion, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing itself that causes the pain, but your judgment of it, and it is in your power to revoke this judgment at any moment," highlights a crucial tenet of Stoic philosophy. We cannot control external events, criticism, failure, loss, but we possess absolute control over our interpretation and response to them. By altering our perspective, we mitigate suffering and maintain psychological equilibrium. Cognitive reframing is a powerful technique for managing perception and cultivating a positive mindset. It involves strategically altering one's interpretation of a situation, transforming a negative experience into a constructive one. This process is not about denying negative emotions, but rather about shifting perspective to identify opportunities for growth and learning within challenging circumstances. For instance, consider the following reframing examples. Negative perception: "I failed the exam. I am incompetent." Reframed perception: "While my performance on the exam was below expectations." This provides valuable insight into areas requiring further study and improvement. This setback serves as a catalyst for enhanced learning and future success. Negative perception: "The heavy traffic caused me to be late for work," which is incredibly frustrating. Reframed perception: "The unexpected delay presented an opportunity to utilize otherwise unproductive time. I was able to listen to an informative podcast, expanding my knowledge and professional development." The efficacy of cognitive reframing lies in its ability to mitigate stress and foster resilience. By consciously choosing to reinterpret challenging situations, individuals can maintain a proactive and optimistic outlook, even in the face of adversity. This proactive approach to managing perception is a crucial skill for navigating the complexities of life and achieving personal and professional goals. Consistent practice in reframing negative thoughts and experiences cultivates a more robust and adaptable mindset, leading to improved emotional well-being and increased success. To practically apply the theory of cognitive control, follow these 3 crucial steps. Step 1. Identify negative thoughts. When encountering a situation, pause and identify your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought beneficial or detrimental to my well-being? If it's negative, proceed to Step 2. Step 2. Challenge the thought. Question the thought's validity. Is this thought accurate, or merely a subjective feeling? Are there alternative perspectives on this situation? Strive for an objective viewpoint. Step 3. Reframe your thinking. Shift from negative thinking to a more positive and constructive perspective. Ask yourself, How can I learn from or leverage this situation for growth? 2. Understanding the root causes of negative thinking. Why do negative thoughts form? The genesis of negative thinking is rarely random, rather, it stems from a confluence of psychological factors and the lens through which we perceive the world. Several key contributors include past negative experiences. Past traumas and adverse events can establish enduring patterns of negative thought. For instance, childhood criticism can foster a persistent belief of inadequacy, I am never good enough. Concrete examples include criticism from a teacher leading to the belief, I consistently make mistakes, I am not intelligent enough. Or rejection in a relationship resulting in the conviction, I am unworthy of love. The crucial takeaway is that painful past experiences can engender negative self-beliefs which, if left unaddressed, will continue to shape self-perception and worldview. The brain's self-preservation mechanisms. The human brain employs a protective mechanism, anticipating the worst-case scenario. While this can be advantageous in risk mitigation, it can also precipitate excessive negativity. For example, the prospect of a public presentation might trigger an immediate cascade of potential failures, inducing anxiety and avoidance. Similarly, the desire to launch a business may be stifled by an immediate focus on financial loss, failure, and criticism, thus inhibiting action. The key lesson here is that negative thoughts are not inherently accurate. They represent the brain's attempt to shield against suffering. However, unchecked, this mechanism severely limits potential. Societal pressures and unconscious beliefs. Family, educational institutions, and broader societal norms can impose implicit standards, fostering feelings of inadequacy. Social comparison often leads to feelings of inferiority. For example, observing the seemingly effortless success, wealth, and happiness of others on social media can induce self-deprecating thoughts, I am worthless, I have achieved nothing. Similarly, familial expectations of success according to predetermined criteria can lead to self-criticism and feelings of failure if those expectations are unmet. It is crucial to remember that social media predominantly showcases successes, not failures, and that individual journeys are unique. Negative thoughts stemming from societal pressures can be mitigated by focusing on self-improvement rather than comparative evaluation. Negative thinking profoundly impacts one's life. When negativity becomes ingrained, it produces detrimental effects, diminished self-confidence and motivation. Continuously criticizing one's abilities fosters inaction and missed opportunities, reinforcing negative self-beliefs. This creates a vicious cycle of fear, avoidance, and stagnation. Deterioration of relationships. Negative thought patterns breed suspicion and cynicism, hindering trust and intimacy. Past betrayals, for instance, can lead to pervasive distrust, making it difficult to form meaningful connections. Increased stress and health problems. Chronic stress stemming from negative thinking contributes to insomnia, anxiety, depression, and cardiovascular issues. The body's physiological response to perceived threats exacerbates fatigue, tension, and reduced energy levels. Conclusion: managing negative thoughts is crucial for both mental well-being and overall health, leading to a more fulfilling and productive life. Overcoming negative thoughts requires a proactive and multifaceted approach. After identifying the root causes of negative thinking, the subsequent steps involve actively controlling and transforming these thought patterns. Identifying negative thoughts. The initial and crucial step is the conscious recognition of negative thoughts. Whenever a negative thought arises, pause and objectively analyze it. Inquire: is this thought grounded in reality? Or is it a manifestation of unfounded fear? What empirical evidence supports this thought? The absence of such evidence should prompt a re-evaluation. Challenging and replacing negative thoughts. Once a negative thought is identified, it must be actively challenged and replaced with more constructive and realistic alternatives. For example, instead of the defeatist thought, I will fail this interview, a more empowering and realistic affirmation should be substituted. I am well prepared and will perform to the best of my abilities. While success is not guaranteed, my efforts will maximize my chances. Reframing failure. Failure should not be interpreted as a measure of personal inadequacy, rather, It represents a valuable learning opportunity within a broader developmental trajectory. Successful individuals do not avoid failure, they strategically reframe it. Following any setback, a critical self-assessment should be conducted to identify key lessons learned and areas for improvement. Ask yourself, what specific insights can be gleaned from this experience to enhance future performance? Cultivating a positive environment. Surround yourself with individuals who exude positivity and inspire personal growth. Engage with uplifting content, and cultivate a consistent practice of gratitude. Remember the principle of association. Your personal development is significantly influenced by the individuals with whom you spend the most time. Therefore, carefully curate your social circle to maximize positive influence. 3. Revitalize your thinking. The malleability of thought is a demonstrable fact. You are not irrevocably bound to negative thinking. Many mistakenly believe their thoughts are immutable aspects of their being. Yet the reality is that cognitive patterns are trainable and transformable. Consider the assertion of Marcus Aurelius: a man's happiness depends on the quality of his thoughts. This statement underscores a fundamental truth. The persistent cultivation of negative thought patterns inevitably leads to a life dominated by anxiety, fear, and insecurity. Conversely, a conscious shift in thinking directly impacts one's emotional responses and subsequent actions, paving the way for a more fulfilling and positive existence. Cognitive restructuring is not merely a theoretical concept, it is a demonstrable skill. A habit of mind that can be learned and refined through diligent practice and application. The ability to consciously alter one's thought processes is a powerful tool for personal growth and well-being, enabling individuals to overcome limiting beliefs and cultivate a more optimistic and resilient mindset. This process requires self-awareness, consistent effort, and the willingness to challenge ingrained negative thought patterns. Through dedicated practice, individuals can actively reshape their internal dialogue, fostering a more positive and productive internal landscape. Negative thinking significantly impacts one's life, hindering not only emotional well-being but also limiting one's capacity for action and growth. Self-imposed limitations arise from repetitive negative thoughts such as, "I'm not good enough," "I will fail," or "nothing will change," effectively blocking opportunities for advancement. This reinforces the self-fulfilling prophecy. Believing in a negative outcome often leads to actions that ensure its realization. For example, believing one will never master English may result in a lack of practice, hindering progress. Similarly, a belief in poor communication skills may lead to avoidance of conversations, thereby preventing improvement. Therefore, one's thought patterns directly influence actions and ultimately shape one's life trajectory. Renewing one's mindset is not about ignoring negative thoughts, but rather about learning to manage and replace them with more constructive ones. This process involves 4 key steps. Step 1. Identifying negative thoughts. When a negative thought arises, do not let it pass unconsciously. Pause and objectively observe it. Is it factual or merely an assumption? Do you possess concrete evidence to support its validity? How would you advise a friend experiencing the same thought? For example, instead of thinking, "I cannot learn a new skill because I am not intelligent enough," reframe it as, "I can learn this skill if I persevere, practice consistently, and find an appropriate learning method." This highlights that thoughts are not absolute truths. They are malleable and can be adjusted through questioning and challenge. Step 2. Challenging negative thoughts. Once identified, actively challenge the negative thought. Ask yourself, is this truly accurate? Am I exaggerating the situation? Have I overcome similar challenges before? If so, how? Are there alternative perspectives on this situation? For instance, instead of believing, "I always fail, nothing I do is right," challenge this assertion. Ask, is it truly 100% true that I always fail? Or have there been instances of success? What about those accomplishments? Most negative thoughts stem from exaggeration and a lack of concrete evidence. Critical questioning reveals their inherent inaccuracies. Step 3. Replacing with positive and beneficial thoughts. Instead of allowing negative thoughts to dominate, proactively choose alternative thoughts that foster strength and motivation. For example, transform, "I cannot do this," into, "I haven't done this yet, but with effort, I can improve. Similarly, replace I am not good enough to succeed with everyone starts from zero. Consistent effort is key. Substituting negative thoughts with positive reframings enhances confidence and encourages action. Step 4. Daily practice of the new mindset. Renewing one's mindset is not a one-time event but a habit requiring daily cultivation. Effective methods include journaling thoughts and their transformations, practicing mindfulness to observe thoughts without judgment, surrounding oneself with positive influences, and cultivating gratitude by listing 3 things each day for which one is thankful. While negative thoughts won't vanish overnight, consistent practice gradually establishes a stronger, more positive mindset. 4. Surround yourself with positivity. A positive mindset is inextricably linked to a supportive environment. As Marcus Aurelius stated, the happiness of life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. However, these thoughts are not formed in a vacuum, they are profoundly shaped by one's surroundings. Consistent exposure to negativity undermines the ability to maintain optimism. For instance, even individuals with inherently strong mental fortitude will find their moods negatively impacted by a persistently negative social or media environment. Similarly, a cluttered and chaotic living space contributes to a disordered mind. Therefore, cultivating a supportive environment is crucial for sustaining a positive outlook. Factors influencing your mindset and how to control them. Your social circle. The individuals you regularly interact with significantly impact your thoughts and feelings. Negative social environments are characterized by consistent complaining, criticism, and the propagation of negativity through discussions focused on failure, fear, and pessimism. Such environments often actively discourage personal growth, potentially mocking or belittling your aspirations. To mitigate this, strategically limit your exposure to negative individuals. This doesn't necessitate complete severance but rather a reduction in interaction. Cultivate relationships with positive, inspiring individuals. Actively participate in self-improvement communities comprised of like-minded people. For instance, if you're striving to build self-confidence but your current friends undermine your efforts, seek out a supportive network that fosters your growth rather than hindering it. The principle to remember is that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely. Your physical environment, your living and working spaces directly influence your focus, productivity, and overall mood. A chaotic environment can induce mental stress, leading to cognitive clutter, impaired concentration, reduced work efficiency, and a pervasive sense of being overwhelmed. To improve your physical environment, prioritize tidiness and organization in both your home and workspace. Incorporate natural elements such as plants and natural light to promote relaxation. Surround yourself with inspiring objects, images, and quotes to maintain motivation. A clean workspace, motivational quotes, and a small plant can significantly enhance focus and mental clarity. The key takeaway is that your physical environment exerts a substantial indirect influence on your thoughts. Create a space that actively supports positive mental well-being. Your daily consumption, information, content, social media. The information you consume daily, through reading, viewing, and listening, shapes your mindset. Exposure to negative content can cultivate anxiety, pessimism, and a distorted self-perception, particularly when excessive consumption of negative news is involved. Social media comparisons can erode self-esteem, fostering limiting beliefs and hindering personal growth. To effectively manage your information intake, curate your social media feeds, following only inspiring and growth-oriented accounts. Minimize exposure to excessive negative news, focusing instead on educational and motivational content. Proactively seek out self-improvement resources such as self-help books, motivational podcasts, and skill-building courses. If negativity dominates your social media experience, unfollow those accounts and replace them with content that inspires and educates. Remember, you become what you consume. Carefully select your information sources to cultivate a strong and positive mindset. Cultivating a positive environment, a proactive approach. Understanding the profound impact of one's environment is the first step towards proactively cultivating a positive space. This process involves a deliberate and systematic approach, encompassing 3 key phases: assessment, modification, and sustained cultivation. Phase 1. Environmental assessment. A critical examination of one's surroundings is paramount. This necessitates a thorough review of personal relationships, living spaces, and daily media consumption. Honest self-reflection is crucial. Are these elements fostering personal growth or hindering it? Identifying detrimental influences is the foundation for positive change. Phase 2. Strategic modification. Implementing effective changes requires decisive action. This involves limiting exposure to negativity, both interpersonal and environmental. Prioritize interactions with individuals who promote positivity and personal growth. Restructuring one's workspace and living areas to incorporate elements that inspire and motivate is equally important. This includes curating online content, selectively engaging with social media and other media sources that align with personal growth objectives. Phase 3. Sustained positive reinforcement. Maintaining a positive environment requires consistent effort and the cultivation of positive habits. Active participation in supportive communities, such as study groups, mindfulness groups, or personal development clubs, provides valuable reinforcement. Incorporating daily practices, such as listening to inspirational podcasts or reading self-help literature, further strengthens this positive reinforcement. The practice of gratitude, specifically noting 3 things each day for which one is grateful, actively shifts focus towards positive aspects of life, reinforcing a positive mindset and fostering resilience against negativity. This consistent, proactive approach ensures the long-term cultivation of a positive and productive environment. 5. Embracing Stoic principles in action. Marcus Aurelius stated, "It is not a good action to spend time arguing about what a good man should do." B1. Action, rather than contemplation or rhetoric, is paramount. Transformation is not achieved through passive reflection, but through decisive action. Taking action reclaims control from the debilitating grip of negative thought patterns. For example, anxiety regarding an examination should be met with focused study, not further worry. Similarly, self-doubt concerning communication skills should be addressed through consistent practice, not rumination. In conclusion, transformative change is not born of thought, but of action. Obstacles to action. Why we don't act and how to overcome it. Many understand the importance of action, yet remain trapped by procrastination and fear. Here are common reasons for inaction and their solutions. Fear of failure. Many avoid action due to a fear of making mistakes or failing. However, Stoic philosophy posits that failure is integral to growth. Solution. Remember that failure is not an endpoint, but a lesson. Ask, if I fail, what is the worst that could happen? What can I learn from it? Example. Aspiring to start a business but fear failure. Begin small, experiment, and learn rather than waiting for the perfect moment. Want to learn a new skill but fear inadequacy. Remember that every expert was once a beginner. Lesson. Progress is impossible without attempting. Procrastination and overthinking. Excessive contemplation paralyzes with anxiety and self-doubt. Instead of acting, one becomes trapped in a cycle of analysis, never truly beginning. Solution. Practice the 5-second rule. When an idea arises, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and begin immediately before the mind can procrastinate. Break down tasks. If a task seems overwhelming, start with the smallest step to build momentum. Example. Want to write a book? Don't wait for inspiration. Write the first sentence today. Aiming to improve fitness? Don't focus on an hour-long workout. Start with 5 minutes daily. Lesson. Take action today, no matter how small. Motivation stems from action, not contemplation. Focusing on the uncontrollable. Stoic philosophy highlights that our greatest anxieties stem from attempting to control the uncontrollable. You cannot control others, circumstances, or outcomes, but you can control your actions. Solution. Concentrate on what you can do now instead of worrying about results. Ask, what can I control in this situation? Example. You cannot control whether others like you, but you can improve yourself daily. You cannot control job rejection, but you can prepare thoroughly for interviews. Lesson. Focus on your actions. Other aspects will naturally adjust. Embarking on a Stoic path. A practical guide. Step 1. Define your priorities. Begin by introspectively identifying the key areas demanding improvement in your life. Articulate 1 to 3 paramount objectives, ensuring they are clearly defined and measurable. This focused approach will serve as the bedrock of your Stoic practice. Step 2. Immediate action. A cornerstone of Stoicism is the immediate execution of plans. Procrastination is antithetical to this philosophy. Do not await inspiration, instead, initiate action, and inspiration will follow. Select a readily achievable task and commence it today. This initial step, however small, establishes momentum and reinforces commitment. Step 3. Cultivate discipline. Marcus Aurelius emphasized discipline as the cornerstone of a meaningful life. Consistent daily action, irrespective of motivational fluctuations, is paramount. Establish a routine, adhering to it rigorously, thereby building resilience and fostering self-mastery. This unwavering commitment will yield substantial long-term results. Step 4. Learn from setbacks and adapt. Failure is inevitable, however. It should not be interpreted as defeat, but rather as a valuable learning opportunity. Analyze setbacks dispassionately, identifying areas for improvement. Ask yourself, what alternative strategies could I employ in the future? This iterative process of refinement is crucial for sustained progress. Practical examples. To cultivate mental fortitude. Initiate a daily journal reflecting on your thoughts and experiences. To enhance physical well-being, commence with a brief 5-minute walk each day, gradually increasing duration and intensity. Conclusion. Action begets results. Consistent, incremental progress, even in seemingly insignificant ways, will yield remarkable transformations. Embrace the Stoic principles of discipline and self-improvement, and witness the positive impact on your life. 6. The potency of language. Language significantly impacts both cognition and emotion. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, the quality of your mind is determined by your thoughts. However, the influence extends beyond mere ideation. The manner in which thoughts are articulated through language exerts a profound effect. The linguistic framing of our internal dialogue directly shapes our cognitive processes. Repetitive verbalization or internal monologue, regardless of factual accuracy, conditions the brain to accept the expressed statement as truth. Consistent negative self-talk cultivates a corresponding negative self-perception, while positive affirmations foster self-belief and resilience. For instance, the declaration, "I am perpetually unsuccessful," predisposes the brain to actively seek evidence supporting this assertion, reinforcing a cycle of negativity and self-doubt. Conversely, reframing this statement to, "I am learning from my mistakes," encourages a growth mindset, prompting the identification of opportunities for development and improvement. This shift in linguistic framing fundamentally alters the cognitive response and emotional experience. Therefore, the manner in which individuals articulate their self-perception directly determines their self-esteem and overall well-being. Careful consideration of one's language, both internally and externally, is crucial for cultivating a positive and productive mindset. The power of language to shape our reality cannot be overstated. Conscious linguistic choices are instrumental in fostering personal growth and achieving desired outcomes. Controlling language to cultivate positive thinking. A comprehensive approach. The cultivation of positive thinking necessitates a rigorous examination of one's internal dialogue. Daily introspection is crucial. Individuals must actively monitor their self-talk, posing critical questions. What am I telling myself? Is this internal narrative beneficial or detrimental to my well-being and progress? A consistent and deliberate effort is required to identify and challenge negative self-perceptions. Consider the following practical examples. When confronted with errors or setbacks, instead of succumbing to self-criticism, "I am incompetent," adopt a proactive and solution-oriented approach. "I will learn from this experience and perform better in the future." Similarly, when faced with challenges, replace defeatist statements, "I cannot accomplish this," with empowering affirmations, "I will find a solution, I will persevere." This conscious shift in internal dialogue represents a fundamental step towards fostering resilience and achieving personal growth. The impact of internal language cannot be overstated. It serves as a powerful force, capable of either bolstering or undermining one's mental and emotional state. The choice, therefore, is clear. Consciously cultivate a positive internal narrative to harness its transformative power. This proactive approach to self-talk is not merely a suggestion, it is a fundamental strategy for optimizing mental well-being and achieving lasting success. Consistent self-monitoring and the deliberate replacement of negative self-talk with positive affirmations are essential components of this process. The judicious use of language is paramount in fostering positive interpersonal relationships and a constructive environment. Negative language not only impacts the speaker but significantly influences those around them. Consistent criticism and complaining cultivate a toxic atmosphere, whereas encouragement and inspiration generate a positive and productive space for all involved. Consider the impact of your words, instead of criticizing a friend with statements like, "You never do anything right." Offer constructive feedback such as, "This attempt wasn't successful, but I believe you can improve." Instead of focusing on fault-finding, provide supportive guidance and suggestions for growth. Remember, your words possess the power to uplift or diminish others, therefore, choose them carefully and deliberately. Effective strategies exist to cultivate positive linguistic habits. Firstly, maintaining a thought journal allows for the identification and transformation of negative thoughts into more constructive affirmations. For instance, replace "I feel useless today" with "Today wasn't my best day, but I will strive for improvement tomorrow." Secondly, the consistent practice of positive affirmations, such as "I am in control of my life" and "I am continually growing and improving," reinforces a positive self-image and promotes self-efficacy. Thirdly, cultivating an attitude of gratitude, by regularly listing 3 things for which you are thankful, shifts the focus from perceived deficiencies to an appreciation of existing blessings. This practice fosters a more optimistic and resilient mindset. By actively employing these techniques, individuals can effectively manage their language and cultivate a sustainable pattern of positive thinking. 7. Cultivate robust mental resilience. Emotional resilience is the capacity to recover, adapt, and persevere in the face of adversity. This is not about avoiding hardship, but about confronting challenges calmly and effectively, refusing to be overcome. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The implication is clear. While you cannot control all that happens to you, you can control your response. Developing emotional resilience ensures that setbacks do not lead to collapse. Instead, you learn to adapt and progress. Crucially, emotional resilience is not an innate trait, it is a skill that can be cultivated. The importance of psychological resilience cannot be overstated. Individuals lacking resilience are significantly more vulnerable to emotional collapse in the face of adversity. They become trapped in cycles of negative emotions such as anxiety, anger, and depression, hindering their ability to overcome setbacks and fostering a debilitating loss of motivation. Conversely, individuals possessing strong resilience demonstrate a capacity to confront challenges with greater composure and rationality. They are less likely to allow a single negative event to derail their entire lives. Instead, actively seeking opportunities for growth and development within adversity. Consider this illustrative example. 2 individuals experience job loss. The individual lacking resilience may succumb to feelings of utter failure and despair, believing their life is irrevocably ruined and succumbing to pervasive negativity. In contrast, the resilient individual views the job loss as a catalyst for acquiring new skills and pursuing more suitable employment opportunities. Proactively seeking professional development and career advancement. The crucial takeaway is that psychological resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about mastering the art of navigating and overcoming it. It is the ability to adapt, learn, and grow from challenging experiences, ultimately emerging stronger and more capable. Cultivating resilience is an investment in one's overall well-being and future success. Factors contributing to the development of psychological resilience. Accepting life's inevitable challenges. No individual experiences a life devoid of hardship or adversity. Individuals possessing robust psychological resilience do not lament challenges, rather, they actively confront them. Practical application. When faced with adversity, instead of questioning, "Why is this happening to me?" reframe the inquiry to, "What can I learn from this experience?" and How can I adapt to this situation? Illustrative example. Rejection from a job interview should not elicit self-deprecating thoughts such as, "I am not good enough." Instead, a resilient individual would analyze the situation, identifying areas for improvement and formulating strategies for future applications. For example, what skills or aspects of my presentation could I enhance for a more successful outcome next time? Key takeaway. Rather than resisting challenges, embrace them as integral components of life and actively seek methods to overcome them. Focusing on controllable factors. A significant contributor to stress is attempting to control elements beyond one's influence. Resilient individuals concentrate on actionable steps rather than succumbing to anxiety. Practical application. When confronted with a problem, categorize its elements. What aspects are within my control? Focus efforts on these controllable factors. What aspects are beyond my control? Learn to accept and relinquish these elements. Illustrative example. Experiencing a traffic delay resulting in lateness to a crucial meeting. Negative response. Frustration, anger, and self-recrimination. Positive response. Acceptance of the uncontrollable traffic delay, followed by a focus on providing a clear explanation and devising solutions to mitigate the impact of the lateness. Key takeaway. Exercise control over manageable aspects, and release the burden of attempting to control the uncontrollable. Reframing failure. Individuals lacking resilience often perceive failure as an insurmountable endpoint. Conversely, resilient individuals view failure as a valuable learning opportunity for growth and development. Practical application. Following each instance of perceived failure, meticulously document 3 key lessons derived from the experience. Actively modify the internal narrative. I failed. Right pointing arrow. I am learning. Everything is over. Right pointing arrow. This presents an opportunity for a fresh start. Illustrative example. Steve Jobs' dismissal from Apple in 1985 serves as a compelling case study. Had he interpreted his dismissal as ultimate failure, Apple's subsequent resurgence under his leadership might not have occurred. Instead, he leveraged this period to learn, innovate, and ultimately return with renewed vigor. Key takeaway. Failure is not a terminal point. It represents a stepping stone on the path to success. Cultivating gratitude and positive thinking. Focusing on life's positive aspects empowers individuals to overcome adversity. Gratitude fosters a positive mindset, even amidst challenging circumstances. Practical application. Daily. Record 3 things for which you are grateful, regardless of their significance. When confronted with difficulties, reflect upon the question, despite the challenges of this situation, what positive aspects remain? Illustrative example. Upon job loss, instead of dwelling solely on the negative, consider, I still have the support of my family and friends. This provides an opportunity to acquire new skills. Key takeaway. Gratitude prevents being overwhelmed by negative emotions and promotes a more optimistic outlook on life. 8. Embrace impermanence. Impermanence is the principle that everything in life is subject to change. Nothing is permanent. This includes emotions, joy and sorrow are fleeting, relationships evolve. And all beings are born and die. Circumstances, success and failure are temporary. As Marcus Aurelius stated, everything flows out and everything changes. There is nothing permanent except change itself. The only thing you control is how you respond to change. The inherent nature of change is unavoidable. Attempting to control the uncontrollable only breeds suffering. Acceptance of impermanence eliminates fear and the clinging to the ephemeral. Rather than resisting change, cultivate adaptability. Humans fear impermanence primarily due to aversion to loss, be it the loss of loved ones, careers, or reputation. The desire for security and control fuels this fear. Change disrupts the familiar and predictable. Consequently, individuals often cling to the status quo, even when detrimental. For instance, heartbreak stems not solely from lost love, but from the disruption of established routines. Similarly, job dissatisfaction persists due to the perceived insecurity of seeking new employment. Change, however, is not inherently negative, it is an inevitable and natural aspect of life. Embracing impermanence offers significant advantages. Reduced suffering and anxiety. Accepting that nothing is permanent mitigates the pain of loss. Preventing excessive attachment to the past or anxieties about the future. Enhanced present moment awareness. Recognizing the transient nature of happiness fosters appreciation. Preventing undue concern over its fleeting nature. Conversely, difficult periods are endured with the understanding that they too are temporary. Increased adaptability. Acceptance of impermanence fosters resilience to change, promoting adaptability and openness to new opportunities. For instance, job loss becomes an opportunity for exploration, and the loss of a loved one, while painful, is met with the cherishing of memories and a forward-looking perspective. Ultimately, detachment fosters freedom from fear and allows for the unburdened enjoyment of life. How to accept impermanence, a pragmatic approach. Acknowledging the inevitable flux of life. Reflect upon your personal history. Consider the myriad transformations you've experienced, often unconsciously. Evaluate the enduring nature of what you once considered immutable. Recognize that all aspects of your present reality, health, career, relationships, are inherently subject to change. This is not a pessimistic assertion, but a fundamental truth. Practical application. Identify 3 significant life changes. Analyze how these alterations have contributed to your personal growth and resilience. The capacity to adapt to change is a measure of strength. Key takeaway. Embrace the dynamic nature of existence. Resistance to change only exacerbates suffering. Acceptance, however, empowers adaptation and fosters resilience. Cultivating the art of detachment. Much of life's suffering stems from clinging to the past. Persevering in attachments to circumstances or relationships that no longer serve your well-being perpetuates unnecessary pain. Detachment is not abandonment, it is a conscious recognition of limitations and a strategic redirection of energy. Practical application. If grappling with the dissolution of a relationship, affirm the following. I acknowledge the transient nature of all things. I appreciate past experiences, but I now choose to move forward constructively. When confronted with anxieties about the future, remind yourself, uncertainty is inherent to the future. This is not a cause for alarm. I will adapt to whatever unfolds. Key takeaway. Detachment does not imply resignation. It signifies the acceptance of factors beyond your direct control. This acceptance frees you to focus on what you can control, your response to change. Embracing mindfulness to live in the present moment. Complete immersion in the present moment mitigates anxieties about the future and regrets about the past. Savor each experience without the apprehension of its ephemerality. This mindful approach fosters a sense of groundedness and reduces the emotional impact of change. Practical application. Dedicate 5 minutes daily to meditation or deep breathing exercises. Focusing intently on your present sensations. During meals, walks, or conversations, cultivate unwavering attention to the immediate experience. Resisting distractions. Key takeaway. Present moment awareness diminishes the fear of future uncertainties and the regret associated with past experiences. It is through mindful engagement with the present that we navigate the inevitable changes of life with greater equanimity and resilience. 9. Live a life of purpose. A life without purpose is adrift at sea, lacking direction. Without goals and meaning, individuals readily experience feelings of aimlessness and demotivation, succumbing to negative thoughts and a pervasive sense of emptiness. Such lives lack direction, becoming mere survival rather than growth. As Marcus Aurelius stated, those who toil incessantly without clear objectives waste their time, however busy they may be. Busyness does not equate to purpose. A purposeful life involves meaningful, directed action. A clearly defined life purpose fosters daily motivation, even amidst challenges. Without purpose, one is susceptible to meaningless pursuits and feelings of emptiness. Symptoms of a purposeless life. Many fail to recognize a life devoid of purpose. Indicators include feelings of aimlessness and uncertainty regarding life's direction, inertia-driven actions lacking genuine motivation, pervasive boredom and a lack of passion, envy of others seemingly possessing clear goals, and a susceptibility to negative thoughts and self-doubt. Illustrative examples include individuals working 9-to-5 jobs without passion or future direction, or those consistently envying peers pursuing their dreams while lacking personal aspirations. Conclusion. Without a defined path, perpetual disorientation is inevitable. Discovering your life's purpose is a journey, not a destination. While it may not be immediately apparent, you can uncover it by thoughtfully considering these key questions. What activities imbue your life with meaning and passion? What pursuits genuinely excite you, even without monetary compensation? When do you feel most energized and motivated? What legacy do you wish to leave behind? Actionable steps include identifying 3 passions or meaningful pursuits. If uncertain, actively explore new experiences to discover what truly resonates. Remember, a life purpose needn't be grandiose, it simply needs to be personally meaningful. How do you wish to contribute to the world? Do you aspire to assist others? What skills or talents can you leverage to create value within your community? How do you envision being remembered? For example, a writer might find purpose in inspiring others through their work, while someone inclined to help others might dedicate themselves to assisting underprivileged children or providing psychological support. A life purpose extends beyond self-fulfillment. It encompasses your contribution to society. What are your core values? What principles guide your life? Success, family, freedom, creativity, altruism. Your life purpose should align with these fundamental beliefs. Identify your 5 most important values and assess their congruence with your current life. Living incongruently with your values will inevitably lead to dissatisfaction. How to live a purpose-driven life. Translating purpose into action requires a structured approach. Goal setting. Deconstruct your overarching life purpose into concrete, measurable, and time-bound goals. For example, aspiring writers might aim to write 500 words daily. Those seeking to help others could commit to monthly volunteer work. Remember, purpose without action remains a mere aspiration. Maintaining momentum. Periods of discouragement are inevitable. Reaffirm your initial motivations and persist, even if progress is incremental. Practical strategies include writing and displaying motivational affirmations and dedicating daily reflection time to your purpose. Persistence, not speed, determines ultimate success. Consistent small steps yield significant long-term progress. Cultivating supportive habits. Align your daily routines with your goals. Eliminate habits that detract from your purpose. For instance, prioritizing health involves daily exercise. Cultivating positive influence necessitates continuous self-improvement through learning and reading. Ultimately, your life reflects the cumulative impact of your daily habits. You cannot control the external world, but you can absolutely control your internal world. As Marcus Aurelius stated, your happiness depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Negative thinking is not destiny, it is a habit that can be changed. You can choose to perceive life in ways that strengthen, rather than weaken, you. Remember, when faced with a challenge, do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this?" Now, share your thoughts in the comments. How have you confronted negative thinking? How did you overcome it? Leave your comments so we can learn and grow together. And if you found this insightful, please like, subscribe, and enable notifications to ensure you don't miss future inspiring content. Your thoughts are yours. Learn to master them. Until next time.